Okay, there we have the Ryanair contenders. Tom, Riverside Theatre is the anti-post favourite here. I suppose the stat against him is that every single winner of the Ryanair has been a course winner. Is that a negative for him, do you think?
It is for me. I saw him, I backed him in the Arkle 2 years back, and he never went a yard. He was off the bridle from the first moment to the last. He stayed on up the hill, but for me he's a massive lay. Can't have him at all. I think he'll bounce off that. I think he had a really hard race there. I'd much prefer Medamit of those two there that we saw at Ascot. Whether Medamit runs in this race or goes for the Gold Cup, I'm not sure. But of those two, I don't know if Paulie will give me a match bet on those two, but I'd be mad keen to back Medamit to beat Riverside Theatre in this race.
Okay, the Paddy Power Chase in November is often a good pointer to this race, and Great Endeavour is the previous winner of that. Would you give him a chance?
Yeah, I'm all in on Great Endeavour. I like this horse. I think this is a great price for this race. I think he's a double-figure price. If you think back to the Paddy Power, he had it stone cold 1-3 out. He went past wishful thinking like he wasn't there, and then there's lots of good horses targeted for that Paddy Power race, and this horse won it in a canter. If you think back to the pipe runners in this race, he's won it with Arvik, he won it with Cyfor Malta. They both won the same race. Now this might be a little bit better now, the Ryanair, than it was in those days, but I'm a massive Great Endeavour fan, and I think he's got a great chance.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Anthony, you've just let down your eyebrows. You raised them when Tom said he gave Riverside Theatre no chance. You disagree, is that fair to say?
I think we're holding too much on that one Arkle run. I mean, he just didn't go at all that day. I don't know if it was, I don't think it was the up and down of the track. He just wasn't going. Look, Riverside Theatre is a class act. I think I wouldn't put you off him. They are pleased with the horse. I can take on board Tom's thoughts. What I can't see is why Ruby Light should be favourite. He got beaten the race last year, and I think it looks a stronger race this year, perhaps, you know. Albertas Run has won at the last 3 Cheltenham festivals, and it would be brilliant if he could go again, but I think he's had a troubled preparation, and it isn't ideal. I mean, I thought he had a leg in the autumn, so to get him back now they've done well to get him back there. So, but I just can't think that he can go and win a 4th year in a row at the festival. I think for each way, I think you can't go far on with Pocolin at 16-1. I mean, he might be slightly better giving weight away in the big handicaps, but he's the highest rated horse in the race on official ratings, and he's 16-1. And he was only just behind Ruby Light when they were 3rd and 4th in the Ryanair last year. So from 4-1 Ruby Light to 16-1 Pocolin, I'd think you could have a bet on that, really.
And you probably will have the pace with so many front runners in the race. It probably will be run to suit Pocolin, would that be fair to say?
Well, there'll be plenty of pace. I mean, I can't see Great Endeavour making all the running. I'm sure that those classier horses will pick him up, but we'll see.
Okay. Davey, you'd probably hope that Albertas Run does run, because I'd imagine that might take AP off Noble Prince and you might get on, is that fair to say?
Yeah. I hope so anyway. He's got a lot of things in his favour. He's a course and distance winner, and he's been running up behind some very good horses, maybe on what you may call not his ideal ground in soft or heavy, and I think he's getting there fairly spot on. He had a little wind adjustment after his last run, and I think he could make enough of a difference to bring him very close, you know.
Would you be worried that last year's juice and form hasn't necessarily stood up?
Not necessarily. I think his own form this year, running up behind Big Zeb and blazing tempo, maybe on ratings. I think there was he may have had maybe £3 in Handweather on ratings in Fairy House, and she was kind of half entitled to beat him or be very, very close to him anyway. And then you've taken into effect with the ground. He is a Manchu. Came from under a fab, and you'd imagine more so than a national hunt-bred horse that the ground would be a factor with the likes of him. His jumping is extremely good, so I would say that his own form this year has stood up.
Okay, thanks, Davey. Willie, just I suppose firstly a bit of a housekeeping. Corals are only 7-1 Quel Esprit for this race. Is there any chance he'll run in it?
He should be 33-1, I think. Quel Esprit goes for the Gold Cup. What price is Blazing Tempo on this?
20th generally. Paulie would probably give you a small bit more than that, but 20th generally.
Yeah, right. we're just debating what race to run her in. I think I have her entered in every race except the cross country. And I tell you, I thought about it. The English handicapper gave us, I think, over a stone more in the county hurdle than she would have to race off over here. We might just have to go back to Galway for the Galway hurdle and race her off her Irish mark. But it's between, I think, the Ryanair chase and the champion chase, going for place money. And I was coming down on the side of the Ryanair chase. I thought she might.
You should go for the champion chase. That's a weaker race, surely. This is quite competitive. There's about 8 in this, all could win it. Whereas the champion chase is probably 2.
Well, I'm thinking with my £7 allowance, we might. I mean, if Noble Prince and Ruby Light are there, we're not 100 miles away from those, I think, at home. Whereas I'm probably 100 miles away from Sizing Europe and Big Zeb. So that's the way I'm looking at it. If you want to be placed, we go for the champion chase. If you want to have a chance of actually winning, go for the Ryanair chase. And I think she could be good each way value.
Okay, thanks, Willie.
Hold on. Actually, that was the same argument I've been having with Alan King about Medimit. We've been discussing Medimit for the last week.
So tell Medimit to go for the champion chase.
Well, no, he's not in that. He's either in the Ryanair or in the Gold Cup. And the owners wanted to go for the Gold Cup. And I think tonight, talking to Alan before I came here, he wouldn't say, but he said he's 90% made his mind up. And I think it sounded like he's finally come down with what you've just been saying, the same reason for Blazing Tempo.
So
he's got a chance of winning.
In the Ryanair?
He'd probably go for the Ryanair, I think,
okay.
Sounds like to me. But he still hasn't made a final decision. But you've got to go with a race where you might win it. Whereas, yes, you might get a place in the Gold Cup, but
okay.
I think they might go. I think it sounds more like they're going to go for Ryanair. And it's interesting, Tom was giving him a big write-up there.
Thank you, Anthony. Paddy, this mightn't be a field full of Grade 1 winners and habitual Grade 1 winners, but looks like a very competitive race. Ruby Light and Noble Prince, the best of the Irish in terms of betting anyway. Ruby Light, is he ground dependent?
He probably is better on soft ground, there's no doubt about that anyway. I don't know, I wouldn't be gone in either of the Irish runners, to be honest with you. Noble Prince, probably wishful thinking, might have gone off a bit quick in the juicing, was the juicing last year, and I don't know, wishful thinking hasn't done a whole pile for the form. I wouldn't be totally mad in Noble Prince or Ruby Light, to be honest with you. Riverside Theatre's the class horse in the race. I get what Tom is saying about him bouncing, and he could bounce, but like, that's a chance you take. But I definitely don't think the track has any problem from him. I think that's, like, he's ran a cracker in the Arkle. I think he was 10 lengths behind Size in Europe in that year's Arkle. It's a fair Arkle. Summersby was second. He was over an inadequate trip, so it's easy to know why he was off his head for so long. And I think if you read the comments in Running the Race and Post, it says beside him nearest at the finish, and that says it all for me. I think if he runs his race, he's the one they all have to beat. Medimit is solid. He'll be banged thereabouts. Albertas Run, it's hard to back him, in my opinion, just off such a layoff, you know. You're taking his fitness and how well he's going at trust, but to be honest, it's a bookmaker's race. There's going to be, you're looking at 5-1 to field. I think we'll lay plenty of it. And I mean, if something like Alberta's Run or Great Endeavour or one of them does win, it'd probably be a result for us anyway, to be honest.
All right, thanks, Paddy.